Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Warriors vs Thunder player grades. Kevin Looney takes over in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander vs Steph Curry showdown. Has everyone's heart rate settled down yet? The Golden State Warriors pulled off one of their best wins of the season on Wednesday night, overcoming a 14-point deficit to beat the Oklahoma City Thunder, owners of the best record in the NBA, on the back end of a back-to-back, 116-109. And it wasn't just an important win, but a thrilling one, too. So let's grade the players who pulled off the improbable, and reminded us of how good the Dubs are capable of being when things click. As always, grades are based on my expectations for each player, with a B grade representing the average performance for that player. Where to focus with Wiggins? On the fact that he played 38 minutes and 21 seconds in a highly intense game, just 24 hours after playing 33 minutes and 14 seconds? On the fact that he led the team in scoring, with elite efficiency? On the fact that his shots were outrageously timely, such as a buzzer-beating three to gain some momentum going into halftime, or a shot clock-beating three to push the lead to 7 with a minute and a half remaining? On the tenacious defense and excellent effort? Take your pick. The grade's the same, regardless. The turnovers are the only stain on GPI's game, and I'll have to re-watch the tape because honestly, I don't remember any of them, other than a rebound where he got pushed out of bounds and no foul was called. So I'm going to give him a pass and assume the others were similar, because it sure didn't feel like his sloppiness was a factor in this game. His endless energy and athleticism rebounding the ball was, though. His fantastic defense, the only Warrior who was able to slow down Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at all, was. His cutting to the rim was. And the cherry on the cake? A poster of 7-foot Isaiah Hartenstein to seal the deal and send everyone home happy. Warriors' thunderous win sends timely message to front office. With 8 days remaining before the NBA trade deadline, the Warriors' shot callers are in the final stages of assessing whether they have the resources and audacity needed to deal their way into the same neighborhood as the Western Conference elite. Which makes a visit Wednesday night from the Oklahoma City Thunder particularly timely. They're rolling through the West like gangsters in tanks armed with grenades, leaving a path of destruction in their wake. This game would give the Warriors an idea of how much distance lies between them and the top of the conference. The answer, not as much as the standings indicate when Golden State's defense shows up as it did after the first quarter. That drowsy start left the Warriors trailing by 14 early in the second quarter before they pushed the Thunder to the edge and, down the stretch, shoved them over for a 116-109 victory that electrified the sellout crowd, 18,064, at Chase Center. When we come out with the right intentions, the right energy, the right mindset, said Gary Payton II, who contributed 15 points, 9 rebounds, and a spectacular punctuating dunk with 1:03 remaining, we can compete with anybody. The Warriors, 24-23, are in 11th place in the West, 13.5 games behind the first-place Thunder, 37-9. They're not going to catch them no matter what transpires by noon on February 6. Too much ground to cover. But it matters that the Warriors took down the NBA's most impressive team for the second time in 3 games to win the season series. It reminds them of what's possible. This is significant because it sends a message to a locker room growing anxious as trade speculation heats up, with Andrew Wiggins, Kevin Looney and Payton being mentioned as potentially available in trade. This is significant because it sends a message to an active front office. General Manager Mike Dunleavy and his crew, with CEO Joe Lacob prominently featured, are in Cyber Monday mode. They're shopping with deliberate intent, according to league sources, but resisting the temptation to leap with fury. This rousing victory also is significant for what it tells the restless fan base. The streets of Dub Nation are awash with feelings of hope trying to obscure feelings of despair. We know they're capable, Kerr said. What we saw early in the year was not a mirage. You don't just fall into that. but watching the tape of the OKC game we played on the road early in the season, when we were rolling, you could see a bounce in our step. A look in our eye. I didn't see that early in the game. We've struggled to play with that bounce and confidence the last month or so. It's great to see us fight through that and reach that state in the second half, where you could see belief, you could see the energy. It felt like we captured that again. Now we've got to sustain it. One game does not offer conclusive evidence. OKC is superior by most relevant metrics, but it's enough for the Warriors to consider that they are a danger to any opponent when they power up their intensified defense. They did so on this night, even with defensive ace Draymond Green watching from the bench in green designer sweats. Once through the first quarter, the Warriors limited the Thunder to 37.3% shooting from the field. MVP favorite Shai Gilgeous-Alexander got his, scoring 52 points, aided by 18 of 21 shooting from the line. Jalen Williams put in 26. The rest of the team shot 27.3%. The Warriors, for their part, owned the second half, outscoring the Thunder 68-51, shooting 61.5% from the field, including 52.9% from distance. They solved OKC's defense, a snarling maze of humanity exquisitely choreographed that ranks number 1 in the NBA. All in all, our second-half intensity, the way everybody scrapped out there, every single guy who came on the floor scrapped and gave us great minutes, Kerr said. Next up comes the Phoenix Suns, and the opportunity for Golden State's first 3-game win streak since mid-November. The front office still has work to do, but this night was enough to make an impact regarding decisions to come. Previously unwanted All-Star stunningly firms as top Warriors trade target. Just over 6 months after they rejected a pre-free agency trade for Zach LaVine, the Golden State Warriors could be stunningly back in the market for the 2X All-Star. According to Anthony Slater and Marcus Thompson, 2 of The Athletic on Wednesday, LaVine could be back on Golden State's radar just over a week out from the February 6 trade deadline. After recently re-emerging as a possible trade destination for Jimmy Butler, LaVine is now the latest star to be linked to the Warriors after weeks had passed in which the possibility of acquiring a big name had seemingly dissipated. According to Slater and Thompson, LaVine may actually be the more likely trade target for Golden State rather than Butler, who's in a much more dramatic scenario in Miami. LaVine is viewed by some within the organization as the safer option. At 29, he's 5.5 years younger and some $6 million cheaper than Butler this season, though his contract extends longer and he's had some recent health concerns. There are risks all over the board, Slater and Thompson wrote. LaVine has had an excellent bounce-back season for the Chicago Bulls, averaging 24 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 4.5 assists on a super-efficient 51.1% from the floor and 44.6% from three-point range. While LaVine's having an excellent season, he still makes $43 million this season and will make nearly $95 million over the next 2 years. It will take a lot for Golden State to even match salaries, starting with 2022 All-Star Andrew Wiggins. Slater and Thompson suggest that the building blocks of a trade would include Wiggins and veteran duo Kevin Looney and Gary Payton too, with the Warriors having to weigh up what that would do to their chemistry and locker room culture in comparison to the injection of talent LaVine would provide. There's little doubt the 29-year-old would help solve a number of issues Golden State are currently facing amid a mediocre 23-23 record. He'd be their second go-to scorer/shot creator, forming a potentially dangerous scoring trio of he, Stephen Curry, and Jonathan Kuminga. LaVine would also step right in next to Curry in the backcourt, alleviating a problem that's plagued the Warriors since DeAnthony Melton's season-ending injury. Trading Wiggins, Payton, and Looney for LaVine would certainly bring some significant defensive concerns on top of the locker room question marks, but perhaps simply getting Curry the offensive support he needs would override those factors. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Zach LaVine? Leave your opinion in the comments.